is packed. People are chilling, having a good time. It's gonna be pretty chill. But as we are moving on to round 2, right? Of course, we're not all about win at all costs, but if you want to make it into top 8, do you know what's required?
To top 8.
Yeah.
You mean by the rulings or what?
Like a score? What's the aim? Because you don't have to be undefeated. If you're undefeated, you're automatically through.
Yeah. You think when I would take part of the top 8, what is the mindset all about, or what do you mean?
More like what is the how many losses can I take and still make it into top 8?
Good. That's something to answer, I think.
So currently, if you're 6-1,
Yeah.
some of it are not going to make it.
Yeah.
There's very little margin for error. So all 7-0s will go through, right?
Yes.
And it's 8 rounds, so all 8-0s will go through. All 7-1s will have to be looked at strength of schedule.
Okay.
For those not in the know, that is, if you had a loss, they will look at how well your opponent has done and how tough your wins were.
Yeah.
So if you won against only players that then went on to lose everything, you'll be placed a little lower than someone who maybe won against other 7-on-1.
So this is the same like when we play on board game arena, isn't it?
Yeah, however, they also take into account your elo.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have an elo.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, we have no elo. Yeah. I'm so in online games.
Yeah, I mean it is an absolute blast. Now,
Yeah.
this is a deck that some of you might not be too familiar with, as
Yes.
even though we have an Izmir mirror, it's Afanas taking up against
It's
Lindiwe.
Lindiwe, yes. So we will see.
As players get
Lindiwe had a recall with a first expansion, but we will see how it goes.
Yeah, what's the thing to look out for here?
Well, we have still some cards for Lindiwe that might be interesting, but they aren't able to play at the moment. I think I'm right. They are suspended at the moment. It's the jelly.
It's only the uniques that are
Oh,
suspended.
the uniques,
The
okay.
normal jellyfishes are a-okay to play.
Okay, so we might will see some of these cards.
Yeah, we already saw the 3-mana draw 2 cards, which has returned to play in a big way. Even Ghoulrang decks playing it up. Just the value of seeing so many cards. As you see, very comfortable both players to sacrifice their progress just to see more cards. Now, the power of seeing more cards, right? Especially in decks with so many answers or so many moving parts as Lindiwe has, right? You really do need those handful of cards to get maximum value, or to make the engine go. You need to see it. So sacrificing a day or two might actually be worth it, especially if it's not being punished in that sense, right? Of course, they're both getting free cards without any. There we go. A spindle unique. I wonder what this one will do. Could it maybe return spells at dusk?
Maybe, and it's often for 1 and 1, and mostly 1 count on the attributes. Like it's a 1/0/0, I think. It is.
Anger from hand. 2 or more boosts. All right, so it's not the peak of what.
No, it's not.
It
But
can
it's
be. It's still strong. It's still
strong,
definitely
yeah.
strong.
And you have the discard effect after you. We should mention that maybe. If normally it's not that important for this card, but I think we have to keep an eye on it.
And I think it's safe to say that these decks have fallen out of favor a little bit. These uniques, right? With the loss of helping hands to continuously keep these uniques around, they have fallen out of favor a little bit. However, still strong.
Yeah.
Just because it might not be dominating every single tournament doesn't mean that there's no power here. Especially when it anchors itself. 1 mana, I mean, you love to see it. It's not maybe going to get the return action on this turn, but it definitely will next. We get
Yes.
ganked by a fly.
Yes.
Now, with Lindiwe, again, sacrificing another day.
Do you have some deck builds in your mind about this hero at the moment? I didn't saw her very often.
So Moth Lantern. Moth Lantern is the card to look out for.
Yes, it is.
When you sacrifice a non-illusion, it's a gear gear permanent. So you play it in the expedition. Once you sacrifice a non-illusion, as we are actually advancing a little bit. As this, I'm just gonna ignore the fly for the moment.
Yeah, the fly is
We are
attacking us all.
We are that stinky already. Huh?
no, wait.
We got that. That's by the way.
Yeah.
No, so Moth Lantern is a great card. The jellyfish, which can be sacrificed, and you don't have to discard it. It goes back to your reserve. When you sacrifice it and it has fleeting, you draw a card. Of course, Lindiwe's token itself, always something to look out for. Mostly that will only spawn in the companion expedition. Makes a little token for free if you're first player by just exhausting her, or if you pay mana when you're not first player. Then every time you sacrifice something, it gets 2 boosts. Some things that you can be on the lookout for, and we will be taking. Actually, I will not be taking a look at the uniques because I want to keep some of the surprises in there. But we have seen a lot of avalanche uniques being paired up with the dog. What's the dog called?
The dog.
Yeah, that one.
It's the hounded, and no, this is for orders.
No, it's for it's in Bravos initially. Guys, the dog that sacrifices things when you play other creatures in its reserve, in its expedition. The fly is the dark WC wasp.
Yeah,
I hate that.
but the chat will answer, I think.
All right, cool. Now, both these players, this is a winners matchup, and I think throughout the tournament we will be featuring people that are doing well. Just so we can have maybe some foresight into when the top 8 gets underway. Now, lots of drawing left and right.
It's the second one.
Yeah, it is. That is a lot of uniques. But then again, I mean, considering he has drawn 2, 4, 5, and then 2 days. So that is 9 to 10 cards. This man has drawn 25% of his deck.
Yes.
Plus the 6 initial.
Yes.
That's
huge.
He's almost drawn half his deck in just the first few days. So maybe shouldn't be too surprised that then of course Amarok. That is the one.
Yes,
that is the
Amarok,
one. All right, let's take a little look at what's going on here.
Carrying Alchemist. Yes. 2-1, 0-2-1. Okay. Now we get. You may return a spell from your reserve to your hand.
That's value. Now that is value. Note that it's not when it goes to reserve, so it will be returning 3 things if able.
Yeah.
That is.
But see, the next condition is when I leave the expedition zone, if I have 1 or more boosts, you may return a spell from your reserve to
so
hand.
3 spells, almost guaranteed, no matter if it gets removed or not.
Yeah. That's a strong one,
Yeah, especially when those 3-minute draw spells that are not going to be played from reserve almost ever. Right, 5 mana, such a steep price. Only when maybe the day's lost or you have nothing else to do, maybe. So the value in that magical training is already being returned. I do believe. I mean, they still have mana for it as well if they want to play it again. If they're convinced that they'll advance regardless, would get them a counter on the Alchemist as well. So that engine is already happily humming, so to speak.
So beautiful beauty sleeps. Sorry.
All right, now that is. All right, yeah, cool. I thought it was pointing at the Spindler, and I was like, oh, that is definitely a choice to make, but doesn't. However, will be making a 1/1/1, and because they are both in green still, they will both be advancing, and that is the power of stalling for so long. I think Izmir are currently top of the rankings in faction.
Yes. at least.
For,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many ways to see a lot of cards, and the cards that you see are almost all good. So you see a lot of cards, and there's many ways to interact with threats, both big and small. And that is just powerful. You never know where the next blow is going to come from. If he's going to be on the expedition, if he's going to get sabotaged, or
Yeah.
it feels very hard to figure out what the right play is.
It is.
And then especially because I'm a fan player myself, especially when I'll be playing, we're like, all right, so he could be having Evanescences, or off he goes. So I'm not gonna play those yet. I'm gonna stall a bit,
Yeah.
and then all my powerful cards get chipped off out of reserve, right? So they're really good at making you feel that damned if you do, damned if you don't, and that is very tough to counter.
When I stepped into the game, the first promotion card I got was an Afanas promo card. I didn't know how to play Izmir, but it looks nice. But now we know that Izmir players are strong in Altered at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, and initially Afanas, when Trace was still a thing, and Waru were like top of the pack, right? Afanas wasn't even really making the appearance back then.
Yes.
Because it just
You're
couldn't
right.
keep up with the amount of control, and especially now without Waru there is less Quetzalcoatl being played, so the punishing of drawing has become a lot harder.
Yeah.
Now we do see the Spindler being taken care of, but that is kind of the trouble here, isn't it? As it gets replaced by not a unique one,
No,
but
it's
a regular one,
it's a rare one, yeah.
and it will anchor and it will retain those counters. You're spending 2 mana to deal with a 1 mana unique, so even when it does get removed, you are losing on tempo, so to speak.
Yeah. And we see that Lindiwe has no characters in the expeditions at the moment.
Yeah, and her token will cost 1 because she's not first player.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't mind that. As production is currently highlighting, that our Lindiwe player is replacing his mana with mana conversions
Yeah.
for clarity's sake.
Yeah.
I actually really like that, especially when people have like monochromatic sleeves.
Please.
It's sometimes very tough to figure out how much mana they have, right? You really have to either keep track of it or constantly ask them to lay it out in such a way that it's
And you
clear.
have one of another problem sometimes. You will see that that players are mixing up accidentally the hand
Hand
into,
and mana,
into
yeah.
the mana, and that's quite. You can't fix that anymore.
At that point, there's going to be a lot of warnings.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to have to trust your opponent. And even though sportsmanlike behavior is very important, fully agree. At a tournament where where there are significant prices, right? It's just good to plug all gaps for that.
Yeah.
So I do like to see that. Some people you'll see bring like something like a dice or a coin they can put on their hand cards to prevent them mixing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more clear it is, the better.
The better is, yeah. Because I know it because I've done it by my own, and it was just
Who hasn't at this point,
yeah.
right?
It was just a game between friends, but it's
Now, here's a card we haven't seen a lot before, and it
Yes.
is being played by the offense. So this is, in my opinion, already a deviation from what we know. Please walk us through it.
It's not Spires. It's when you play a spell, I gain 1 arcane counter. Then you may exhaust me and spend 4 of my arcane counters to create a Mana Moth Illusion 2/2 token in target expedition. So you can decide where to put the moth inside.
Yeah. Important here that you have to play a spell first. Even if it has 4 counters,
Yeah.
you need
You need
to play a spell.
you
So
need to
the
play spell.
timing is
Yeah.
restricted a little bit. Well, first counters will be coming down. And this time the Alchemist is very much awake. Now, Joyride, putting down counters on anchored creatures at the cost of cards in reserve. Usually quite a steep price to pay, but with the amount of cards drawn already, that is a bargain, so to speak.
Yeah.
And with the expeditions where they are, this Afanas is set up for success big time. Already 2 expeditions ahead, and Lindiwe is just not able to have it stick. And even despite being already behind, they'll have to be playing into a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
It is not a great. Of course, they have cards at their disposal, like the booms that you'll see be played, which could be quite valuable, right? Especially since the card doesn't have fleeting yet. Discarding it would be nice. However, there's so many cards you're going to have to take it up against. It's tough to keep up.
It is. We have 2 expeditions is Lindiwe behind at the moment. So it's quite a little bit now quiet on the table.
Yeah, as we're prepping for the day,
Yeah, yes.
making sure we mana all the right cards,
Yes.
go through what could still be left there. Mana will be entering, and Lindiwe will be taking us away. All noon triggers done. The morning triggers done. Ready for the afternoon. Now, it is noteworthy to highlight that the reserve of this Afanas is so low to the ground.
Yeah.
If you look at the 2 reserves, when Off You Go and Beauty Sleep on Lindiwe's side, not the best cards from reserve, right? Can help you out in a pinch, but it's still early in the
Up
game.
You Go is too expensive with 4 from reserve, and even the Beauty Sleep with 3 is expensive. So
Exactly.
he has to pick up the cards into hand if possible.
Now we are getting rid of the Alchemist.
Yes, because we have seen a Tooth Fairy, sorry. It's a 1/1 version, it's a common version.
And it's gonna grow. It's gonna keep
And-
growing.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep growing.
And we see
Not drawn cards. It's the common version this time around, which I think is a good adaptation, right? Without helping hand, the value you can get from it is quite stunted,
yeah.
so to speak. So I definitely don't mind seeing it being downgraded to common, because as a common, it's still an absolute rock star.
New landmark was played.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. On face value, I am not seeing it. But sometimes you just need that little push over the edge, right? And 2 mana is not that expensive. A little after you as well. And with the amount of spell bouncing that is going on here, I don't mind it too much, actually. I like when I read it in the spoilers, I wasn't that impressed. But I'm curious to see what value will be gained from it this time around. Not sure if any more value is needed from the Afanas currently, as they are playing convincingly, so to speak, in a very comfortable position.
That's the first jellyfish.
Hey there, Kuko. Glad to have you.
Yes.
It's slowly filling up. I'm actually kind of liking the vibe we're having in chat. For those not up to speed, we are currently in round 2 of 8, and after which we'll have a top cut. We'll have 3 more games after that, ending in a grand finale.
Yes.
So we're gonna be here for a bit. So feel free to strap in, get comfortable, like we are.
Lunch is already skipped for me and you. But it's not necessary on my side.
Yeah, I'll settle for a Brinner. Or what was it? A lunner? Lunch dinner? Roast beef.
Yeah.
Now, with the landmarks coming out, this is the point where Lindiwe can start accruing some value.
Thank you. No, it's not necessary. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Production is so sweet, reaching out to us like, "Oh, we'll get that fixed for you." No, don't worry about it. Do not worry about it.
You will see.
But it is very sweet. Thank you. Big kiss from us. Now, this mage dancer is getting completely out of control, and there is 2 mana left, so maybe an off you go. But even then, you are trading at best, and that is such an awkward position to be in. Such an awkward position to be in for
Yeah,
Lindiwe.
we see
It
an
will
off
be
you
getting
go.
rid of it,
Yeah.
right?
In off you go played.
But now look at that reserve as well, because that jellyfish will be going to reserve as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He has to pay the price for it.
you're gonna have to discard 2 cards.
Yes.
And that is just an awkward position to be in.
Well, what would you like to discard? Maybe.
Probably one of the off you goes, right?
Yes. I think that's an easy decision, but the other one is more tricky.
Honestly, firstly, I'd say the beauty sleep, right? Because returning the off you go to hand it would be so powerful.
Yeah.
And now look at this. That is the power. A magical train gets a counter on the spirals, which allows him to make a 2/2, which coincidentally is bigger with the counter from Afanas.
Yeah.
So the classic Afanas trigger stacking.
Yeah.
Optimal use, and that is another 2 steps. 2-0. This Afanas is absolutely waltzing over the competition currently.
So now he has to do the decision.
Yeah, one of you goes already
Gone.
pretty
Yeah.
clear,
Yeah.
and the second one will be
Okay, so he sees more value in the beauty sleep than in the off you go, but it depends on the card that he has in hand.
if you can't bounce it, right? then-
Yes, you can't bounce it, so it might be better to have the cheaper card in the reserve with 3 costs of mana.
Now we can get a little glimpse. There's more jellyfishes coming up.
Yes.
Wonderful.
But I have such a nice jellyfish unique. I can't play.
Rough. Now I'm sure, for all clarity's sake, the Isma, Babiak Isma, has not been used yet. So I'm sure that will be ready
Yeah.
very soon.
Jellyfish is gone because of the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, and that is now choking away the resources that the Lindiwe has.
Yes.
In big trouble right now.
Yes. She
Yeah,
is.
there you go.
She is. How many cards in hand she has? We don't know.
Yeah, that's how much really, really hurt because
I get the information that are 3 cards in hand. Thank you.
and that is whoa. Yeah, on the road right now. And you're gonna have to think right now, you're in full survival mode for Lindiwe, right? You're not even thinking about getting back into the game. You're thinking about, right, how do I stabilize? How do I end this endless barrage of blows that are landing? And by the time you might come up with something, the spirals might be ready to hatch another moth.
That's a new card. Let me see what.
It's a Moss
That's the
Lantern.
moth.
I'm struggling with the foiled ones because I never see them before.
Yeah, and the reflection, of course, but hey, if you gotta be pretty, right? Yeah, it's gotta cost you something.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It would be so nice.
And
Yeah,
Moth
thank
Lantern
you very much.
truly the star of the deck as well.
Yes.
The value that can be accrued from this is immense.
Yeah.
And especially if there's like 2 Babas Ismas out, or there's an extra boom in there, it's really, really tricky. It's really, really tricky to get it down just right. And it asks a lot from your opponent as well to maneuver around it fairly. Because even though it makes tokens in that expedition, you can, especially if you do play it in the hero expedition, if you do make the token, every time you sacrifice, you're getting 2 power across the board.
Yeah.
Both expeditions. So that is scout ability being played for our moth boy. Scout it in the companion expedition. When he leaves the expedition, makes a 2/2. Cute little after you.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that before. As the counters keep on
It's
accruing.
Moth Breeder. It's me, Moth Breeder. Thank you very much for showing us the card. Create a 2/2 Moth Illusion token in target expedition and Scout 2. Yeah, Scout is a new ability. We
Yeah,
were
from
faced for
Whispers of the Maze.
yes, Wizards of the Maze. So it's first time that we see cards with Scout, the keyword Scout. Yes.
They're permanent being taken care of with the license decommission or something.
Yeah.
What a versatile card that is, huh?
Yeah. It
Creatures
is.
with counters, landmarks, it
It's
does
crazy.
it all, and no restriction either.
Tiny Jail is gone.
Yeah,
It
which is also sad because I love time.
Yeah, I like
So much pressure from just the reserve.
Yeah, but now license withdrawal. Thank you very much. The cards are coming in so fast. That's great. It's a really good work. Thank you from all the good stuff that is working out from behind.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
out of faction one does have restrictions
Yeah.
for a bit of a discount.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and they are looking to push it over the edge now. So they are winning on the hero side currently,
yeah.
3-3-3. And they're tying on the other side.
Yeah, the dice was rolled. It was a 2.
Yeah, that's for the orientation of the card to
Yes.
maintain integrity of the game.
Yeah,
We're rolling for card orientation. Should be much proper. Now,
so we know all the tumult cards right now, and we see that Izmir player is now on red and green, and on but the game is over.
Yeah.
It's done. So it was a GG already. Well, I'm talking about the tumult cards, yes, but at least too tough for
Yeah.
Lindiwe to win this game.
Rune Poke is exactly right. It was
Yeah.
such a tough position to be in. And the card pool wasn't even dry
Yeah,
for Afanas. He still had everything to go.
yeah,
Sometimes you just have to protect yourself. You kind of have to protect yourself, save your mental. Be like, all right, let's. It's a very long day for the players as well. We have to be
Yeah.
focused for a very long time.
yeah.
Better to wrap it up. Speaking of wrapping it up, I think with this game pass,
Yeah.
we should probably step out for a little bit, see if we can get that lunch going on. And then when
Little
we're
bit,
ready for
yes.
the next match or something interesting,
Yes.
we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Maybe service yourself a little bit,
Yes.
and we'll be right in a jiffy.
Stay hydrated. See you soon.